Charlotte has $4.5 billion going to one corridor, a medical campus, and hundreds of new homes still under construction. Most people have no idea how much is being built around them right now. So today, I'm breaking down seven projects that will transform Charlotte for good. After 12 years in this market, I haven't seen this many moving at once, and prices haven't caught up yet. Let's dive in. Back in the early 2000s, South End at that time was still mostly industrial. Old warehouses, a few small businesses, not much residential demand, and the Blue Line was still years away from opening. Then the Blue Line opened in 2007, and over time, everything around it started to build up and demand picked up super fast. Now, it's one of the most desirable areas to live in here in Charlotte. That same pattern is starting to show up with the Lennox Silver Line. The full vision for this line stretches about 29 miles from Belmont straight across Uptown and out towards Matthews and Indian Trail. Charlotte never had a true east to west rail line like that. It's always been north to south. So now you've got something different. The Blue Line running one direction, the Silver Line cutting across it. That creates a real grid. And if you're in one of those areas that's never had rail access, that changes how connected you are to everything else. For a long time, the question was whether this thing would even get off the ground. Now we're getting a much clearer answer of exactly what's going on. Mecklenburg County voters approved a 1% sales tax last November to help fund transportation. Just over 52% said yes. That expected to bring in $20 billion over time, with one big portion going to the rail. Translation, this has real backing currently. The Silver Line was also named a priority corridor last year, and planning is moving forward. More than 40 bridges, 4 tunnels, parking structures, and maintenance facilities. So everything's actually moving forward. The first section is about 10 miles with 16 stations running from the airport to Uptown and over the Bojangles Coliseum area. Construction is expected to start in the early 2030s, with the project still working through design improvements and federal funding. So yeah, it's taking some time, but that timing is where people either get ahead of it or watch it happen from the sidelines. Because if you go back to the Blue Line, the biggest gains came before everything was built, when it still looked unfinished, when it wasn't obvious yet what was going on. By the time the restaurants showed up, the breweries filled in, the buildings went vertical, prices had already moved. Trust me, that's the pattern. And you can already see where that setup is visible again. The Silver Line runs along Independence Boulevard into east side of Charlotte and through parts of towns that have been more affordable than where the Blue Line currently is. That difference in pricing usually shrinks once rail is in place. The city already planning for more housing and growth around these stations. That's where things start building for the coming years. Now there's another project in Charlotte that's up and running, but most people are still overlooking it. But first, if you want to find the right spot before all of this gets priced in, whether you're relocating to Charlotte or already here, that's exactly what I help with. I've been in this market for years, helping buyers through these kind of changes. My contact information is right here and linked in the description. All right, let's keep going. So right next to Uptown, you've got a walkable innovation campus starting to take shape, anchored by brand new medical school and major research facilities. The kind of setup that brings a lot of jobs into one area and starts to reshape the neighborhood around it. That's the Pearl, and it's already open. This is a $1.5 billion project built by a partnership that includes Advocate Health, Wexford Science and Technology, and Ventas. Advocate Health officially opened in June of 2025. It sits at Baxter and McDowell in Midtown, right on the edge of Uptown, in an area that the city has been trying to build for years. It's already active, classes are running, and resource space is filling up pretty quick. Wake Forest University School of medicine is a big part of this. It's the first 4-year medical school in Charlotte, and the first class started in July of 2025. They're planning to grow that over the next few years. And right next to that, you've got IRCAD, a global surgical training center. Their North American headquarters is now right here in Charlotte, already training thousands of medical professionals every year in advanced surgical technologies. You can already see how that starts to play out around it. People are flying in, staying in hotels, eating nearby, spending time in that area, and it builds a steady flow of activity. And with healthcare and university in place, it tends to stick. These are stable, well-paid jobs. People need housing close by. Businesses start to fill in, and over time, it gives the area a level of stability you don't always get with the new developments. But wait until I show you what's happening with a few older office buildings nearby that are about to bring hundreds of people into the same area. I'll get to that in just a minute. Now, this is still early. There's already more planned, additional research buildings, hotel, retail, and a 20-story residential tower with over 380 residents coming in. That tower is expected to start construction in 2026 and be delivered around 2028. And this is part of a much bigger pipeline. Uptown, Midtown, and South End together have closed $4.4 billion in development lined up currently. Midtown has always been in a strong spot, right between Uptown and South End, close to everything. It just never had something anchoring it like this prior, and now it does. And that's the same idea shows up again in the next project. Over in West Charlotte, you've got a large master plan community being built from ground up along the Catawba River. It is called the River District, and it's gonna blow your mind. It is the biggest development Mecklenburg County has seen since Ballantyne. And Ballantyne didn't just add homes, it built out an entire part of the city over that extended period of time. That's the kind of role this project is set up to play on the west side. Now, River District is a big build. You're looking at thousands of homes, millions of square feet of commercial space, retail, and more than 500 acres of parks and trails, all planned out over the next 8 to 10 years. And as they're building it out, they're already layering things in it. There's a working farm, a farmer's market, a farm-to-table restaurant, trails across preserved green space, and yeah, even a 65-foot wooden troll is out there to enjoy. The retail village is part of the plan from day one, tied in with the farming and market, not something being added in later on. Crescent Communities behind it all, and they are opening the project September of 2025. The first section, West, is delivering homes right now. There's an apartment community already leasing and mixed-use retail buildings with restaurant shops, and everyday services is in permitting process currently, with the groundbreaking expected later this year. Right now, new construction single-family homes are coming in from the mid-500s into the upper 600s, with some large plans being pushed a little bit higher. Townhomes are starting in the low to mid-400s. You're getting new construction, modern layouts, and more space than you'd usually find in established areas like South Charlotte and similar price points. Location plays a big role here. It sits right near Charlotte Douglas International Airport, with strong road access and major employment centers that are nearby. And now you've got a large master planned community built around green space and the Catawba River in an area that has stayed more affordable than places with similar access. West Charlotte has been priced low for a long time, and when something at this scale starts to fill in, activity builds around it. Sometimes it takes time, sometimes it moves faster than expected. Now what's happening here lines up with something else on the other side of the city. Uptown has a vacancy issue currently going on. Office vacancies was around 27% last year, among the highest it's been, and part of that came from Vanguard moving its own campus and leaving behind lots of space. So you got empty office floors sitting right in the center of the city, and instead of tearing those buildings down, developers are actually starting to reuse them. The The biggest project moving right now is 400 South Tryon, the former Wachovia Center, which is a 32-story tower from back in the 1970s. Plans were filed in April to turn the upper floors into almost 600 residential units with a hotel below, plus retail and redesigned plaza at the street level. When that's done, it will be the largest office to residential conversion Charlotte has seen. Nearly 600,000 square feet of office space turned into housing and hotel use right in the center of the city. And in a few minutes, I'll show you what's being built at the airport right now, including a project that is going to increase capacity in a big way. So stick with me. Now there's another transformation coming, Brooklyn and Church, where a former Duke Energy office tower is being turned into more than 460 homes, expected to be delivered in late 2027. And you're starting to see this spread beyond core. In Ballantyne, there are plans to convert an office building into more than 400 residential units across a 16-acre site. As more people start living in Uptown, demand for restaurants and retail keeps going up. That makes an area easier to live in, which brings in more residents, and that keeps building upon itself. The city has an updated zoning rules, making these projects easier to move forward than they were just a few years ago. Uptown is starting to feel less like a place that you only go to work and more like a place people are going to live and truly enjoy. And that area that's been doing that the longest in Charlotte is where we're headed to next. South End hasn't changed a lot over the past few years, and it hasn't slowed down. There's always something going up. The rail trail stays busy and development keeps pushing forward. What used to be a quiet stretch of older warehouses along South Boulevard has truly turned into something that's unbelievable. One of the most competitive residential areas here in Charlotte. You got restaurants, breweries, fitness studios, and retail filled in as more people start moving back. And it all ties back to how it was built and developed. The blue line runs right through it, and the rail trail gives it a real walkability. And that combination is what allowed everything else to follow suit. More density came in, demand stayed strong, and the area kept building on top of that. Right now, one of the main projects here is Queensbridge Collective, right where this area connects into the center of the city, next to the Carson Light Rail stop. One tower, the Vivian, is already finished, and the second one, 1111 South Tryon, is under construction currently and expected to be completed in 2028. It's a 43-story building with several hundred homes and around 400,000 square feet of office space. You got companies like Moore and Van Allen, Ernst & Young, Pacific Life tied into it, so it's going to stand out on the skyline. And that momentum keeps carrying over into the nearby sites. Center South, where South End, Dilworth, and the center of the city meet up together, is set for construction in early 2026 with plans to close over 1,000 homes along office, retail, and then a possible hotel. At the same time, there's a new Blue Line station already under construction, expected to open up in 2028. That adds more access into the corridor that already has strong demand, which helps keep the activity moving forward. Right now, prices in South End are sitting in the low $600,000 price point. Homes move faster here than in the broader Charlotte market, and inventory is staying tight most of the time. Demand holds steady with all the walkability, transit, access to the rail trail, major employers, and ongoing development that continues to move forward. South End keeps building on top of what's already there. And the foundation behind all this, what's been driving Charlotte's growth for decades, is what we'll get into next. Most people think Charlotte-Doga Airport as a place you pass through on your way going somewhere else. But when you look at how the city has grown, the airport has been right in the middle of it. It has played a big role in bringing jobs and companies into the area. Actually, it contributes about $40 billion each year to North and South Carolina's economy. That's a lot. It also supports close to 185,000 jobs and makes up to 5% of the state's total economic output. So this is a big deal. American Airlines runs most of the daily flights here, which is why this has become one of the key hubs in the country. In 2024 alone, the airport handled a record over 58 million passengers, and the year before that was another record before. And it's not slowing down. The $608 million terminal lobby expansion wrapped up in the fall last year, opening up the main passenger areas, expanding security, and making it easier to move around inside the airport. At the same time, a much bigger project is already well underway, a fourth runway with a price tag of over $1 billion. Construction started back in 2023. First concrete went in late 2025 and is expected to be completed in the fall of 2027. As of now, it's the only new commercial runway being built in the country. And there's a reason for that. Charlotte is already running close to capacity. This new runway is built to handle that load, reduce wait times, and keep traffic moving more efficiently, especially during peak travel and different delays. Alongside of that, Concourse E renovations are working towards 2027 completions, adding more gates, upgrading facilities to truly support all that growth that we have going on at the airport. Projects like this are built ahead of the demand based on where growth is expected to go. Charlotte Douglas is putting close to $4 billion into its infrastructure, which points to long-term expectations for our current market. And when you connect that to the west side, you got the airport next to a large master plan community and a future rail connection linking it all back into the center city. That's a pretty strong combination, and all that growth has to move somewhere. And that's where the next development comes into play. Nobody moves to Charlotte because they love the commute. This is a car-centric city, and roads like I-77, I-85, I-485 carry most of the traffic. With how fast the area has grown, you feel that pressure, especially during rush hour on I-77. And that's why people are paying attention to the road projects happening and what's going on right now. The I-485 express lane opened in February this year. It's about 17 miles in South Charlotte with one express lane in each direction, plus adding lanes and upgrades at key interchanges. That outer loop that connects the southern suburbs now runs more smoothly for people using it every single day. For places like Matthews, Indian Trails, Weddington, and nearby areas, that shows up as a shorter and more predictable commute. In a city like this where most people drive, that affects where people decide to live. There's also a bigger project coming on I-77 South, and it runs about 11 miles from South Carolina border up to the center of Charlotte. Early this year, NCDOT rolled out $3.2 billion plan that adds express toll lanes and rebuilds key interchanges, with some sections designed to limit that impact in nearby neighborhoods. This one takes time. Construction isn't expected to start till 2030, and studies are ongoing through 2027 to make sure the planning is done right. Along that stretch, pricing has been tied to the commute, but if the commute gets easier, that gap tends to narrow. The transportation sales tax passed last November, the same one tied to the Silver Line, is also funding road improvements across Mecklenburg County. It's helping the city keep up with growth, and adding nearly 160 people here a day, you get the picture. Roads don't usually get the spotlight, but they support everything else that's moving around the city. So there's a lot coming up, and those timelines don't line up. Prices usually move after everything is already in place. The buyers who get that tend to get in earlier and truly look back a few years later. Glad we did that. So if you're trying to figure out which of these areas fits your budget and your timing, send me an email at mark@albrecht.com today. I'll put together a plan based on what you're truly looking for. These projects are shaping which neighborhoods move, and I just broke down 5 areas I'd buy right now, including one of the most buyers haven't priced in just yet. Link is right here. Until next time, I look forward to showing you around town.